guess what happened to me?
Oh no, I can't hear her. Oh, how are we doing Saturday night? It's the first time I've ever gotten a 10 in my life. Yes. Sweet. You guys ever get the feeling you're not where you're supposed to be? You're like, I was at a restaurant that turned into a comedy show. I absolutely know that feeling. I'm in my 30s and I feel like I'm a total failure. I'm not following any of the traditional milestones for a woman my age. I feel less like a woman in her 30s and more like a woman in the 30s. I don't own a home. I don't have a real job. People have started to whisper why I don't have a husband. It's weird that I'm not married, considering how many people, when they first meet me, are pretty sure they voted for my right to be married. Every woman over 60 pulls me aside at some point and goes, I want you to know, I strongly support gay rights. I'm like, so do I, Gail. It's just how I dress. People don't know what to do with a woman in tennis shoes after age 10. If I'm a girl in tennis shoes, they're like, oh, you're a tomboy. I'm a woman in tennis shoes, they're like, oh, you're Ellen? I get women all the time after shows trying to test my straightness. And I'm like, oh, thank you so much, but men have tested it plenty. Some of you are still questioning. I want to clear it up. I identify as single. Which really bums out my boyfriend. We were at a dinner party of 4 couples and 1 single guy at the end of the table. My boyfriend leans over and goes, God, I feel so badly for him. He's the only one going home alone. And I was like, I'll take care of it. See you in the morning. We recently moved in together. Is anyone living with their significant other? That's the quietest response it's been all night. That was a 1, you guys. That was a 1 on the John scale. That's about how I feel, because I love my space. But I thought, you know what? I'm in my 30s. I really should stop calling him my boyfriend and get used to calling him my hostage. And people don't know why I wouldn't want to marry him. They're like, Maxie, how have you hung on to this wonderful man for so long? And I'm like, oh, I keep him around the old-fashioned way. Chicken wire. I'm not very domestic. I feel like I'm being a bad partner. Other women make it look effortless. They cook, they clean, they've been with their partner through his cancer. And I'm like, well, how am I supposed to compete with that? I guess I gotta learn how to give him cancer. I thought moving in together was supposed to reduce the workload. Suddenly, I've adopted all of his chores to do. His plants are now mine to water. I feel like a stepmom who just got dumped 6 kids. I asked my friend Janet what to do. She's like, just treat them like they're yours. So once a week, I turn the hose on them. And then I walk around going, you're the reason we don't have sex anymore. You're the reason we don't have sex anymore. I'm worried I'm gonna snap. I never realized that habits that didn't used to bother me before we moved in together now can ruin my entire month. Like before we moved in, I never noticed he does this one thing where every morning he wakes up. That's it. That's not enough. I'm worried I'm gonna snap. I'm gonna kill him. The newspaper headlines are gonna read, Maxie Whitrack, star of Shrinking, kills boyfriend in fit of rage. And the question on everyone's minds is gonna be, she dates men? Really? I know, I've always been a little bit of a failure as a woman. I'll tell you guys, when I was a kid, I got bullied a lot for being trans, and it was really hard because I was not trans. Because of my deep voice and because my parents dressed me in my older brother's hand-me-downs, girls would corner me in the bathroom going, Max is a man! And then, I know, right there in the bathroom, to prove I wasn't a man, I'd have to cry in front of them. Proved I wasn't a man. Proved I was a real man. Thank you. I love my deep voice now because no one ever accuses me of sounding hysterical. Other girls freak out, they're like, oh my God. I freak out, I'm like, oh my God. They're like, he's taking this really well. I guess I've just never been one of those girls who leads with her sexuality. There's girls out there, my pussy this, my pussy that. They're so proud. My pussy's a goddess. I'm just like, a goddess, really? Mine's more like an air fryer. Because at first I was like, I'm gonna use this all the time. Get a little older, you're like, takeout's faster. I don't know. I don't mind girls who think that way and want to treat their pussies like goddesses. Sorry, that's the last time I'll say the P word. It just sets up the expectation that we have to treat dicks like gods. And hey, I treat my boyfriend's dick like God. I ignore it except for major holidays. I know what you're thinking about me. Look, it's my fault I'm not married. After 30, there's only two explanations for an unmarried woman. She's either a lesbian or she's a lot. I know which one I am. I think people get the wrong impression of me. They think because I'm hard on men that I must be a really ardent feminist. And I think I'm just angry. The fact that the things we're angry about happens to overlap, that's just convenient. I don't know, but it's embarrassing because during the Me Too movement, I found out I actually don't know that much about women's issues. My boyfriend is a better feminist than I am. And it's embarrassing because I don't know if you know anything about feminism, but it looks bad when a man can, in fact, do your job better than you. The first time I brought him home, I said, I'm so sorry. We have to use condoms. I'm not on the pill. And he said, good, you shouldn't be. It's horrible for women. And I was like, I knew that. He teaches me things I'm pretty sure I should be the expert on. After we hook up, he goes, hey, you should probably go pee so you don't get a UTI. And I was like, I knew that. He was like, oh, sorry. Go back to sleep. Not to get too graphic for anyone having a chowder, but he was going down on me and I said, I'm so sorry, it's taking me so long. And he said, hey, your pleasure, wow, you could hear a pin drop in that. He said, your pleasure matters just as much as mine. And I was like, okay, that one I knew. I live up in LA where honestly all the guys that I've dated have been so much more progressive than I am. One guy I dated paid for my birth control. I know. He went out and got a tribal tattoo on his bicep. I was like, whoa, look at that. Don't want to sleep with you anymore. 100% effective. Look, I love guys who are allies, but don't call yourself an ally. It's gross. Guys who call themselves allies are like apples that call themselves Red Delicious. You can call yourself whatever you want, but you are blah on the inside. Not a lot of Apple fans in here, okay. I'm from Washington. I got a laugh out of the Me Too movement during the pandemic. It was a big to do. It was a good intention, but all the guys policing it were just using it to get their competition out of the way, I'm pretty sure. Because I would walk into a comedy club and I'd go over to my friend Mike and he'd pull me close and say, hey, watch out for Jeff over there. He's a real creep. And I'd say, okay. And then I'd walk over to my friend Jeff and he'd pull me close and he'd say, hey, Watch out for Mike over there. He's a real creep. And obviously, I'm very confused now because both my ears are wet. I don't know what guys think accusing someone else as their pickup line. How dumb do I have to be like, oh, well, they can't both be predators. I know, we're taking it some more intellectual places tonight. I had chock full of dick jokes for you guys, and I was like, no, they're a smart crowd. They're gonna appreciate a little pussy stuff. I don't know, I don't think you get to call yourself an ally if you're only nice to women to get laid. You're not an ally, you're just short. Guys are like, I could never hurt a woman. You're like, I know, Kevin, you're 5'2". You don't have the upper body strength. Getting older has been a real kick in the dick, isn't it? I had my first mammogram. Anyone in here have that yet? You should be. I see some of you. You're over 40. You should be. It's not fun. It makes you feel old. It snuck up on me. I didn't know I was already the age where I'd have to pay a stranger to touch me. If you don't know what it is, it's where someone takes your breast and tries to juice it. They actually recommend at-home self-exams, but I can never fit my tit in the Vitamix. So I go in, and from the bat, even the name of it makes me feel old. Mammogram. I said to the technician, I was like, can we call it a missogram? She's like, ma'am. I have a little problem with any women's healthcare procedure that follows the same process as extracting milk from an almond. And if you don't know, that's how they get almond milk. They take an almond, they put it between two plates, and they say, hold still, don't breathe. And look, I don't want you guys to worry about me. The doctor said no milk. But he did say nice jugs. I'm kidding. Those of you sitting on the sides can tell these have never been described as jugs. They're at best like those teeny tiny cartons of milk you got in the elementary school lunch. Because if you look at them from the side, it says missing. That's for my old school fans who drank their milk. Good for you. I'm getting to the age where I have to wear makeup, and it sucks. Only celebrity women can get away with not wearing makeup. Wearing makeup at this age is the difference between people thinking you're... Well, I've never changed my mind mid-joke before. I'm like, wow, I'm such a good arguer. I think I just destroyed my own point. It sucks. When I was younger, I could go without makeup, and my friends would be like, that's okay, Maxie, you're effortlessly beautiful. Now I show up to an event without makeup, they're like, you're not trying at all, are you? Pam Anderson doesn't wear makeup, she's an activist. I don't wear makeup, I'm giving up. And you do have to mention it. Anytime we're without makeup, we have to tell, oh, I'm not wearing makeup, I'm so sorry, because that's the difference between people thinking you're brave and people thinking you're ill. This woman in my gym always wears a full face of makeup, brows, lips, everything. She comes in one day with nothing on. I'm like, I'm so sorry. She's like, what? I had an early shift. I'm like, oh, I thought you had cancer. And it sucks because the guys that we wear makeup to look good for make fun of us for it. The morning after a date, they act so offended and deceived. They turn over in bed like, you fooled me. It's like, well, you could have tried a little harder to fool me too, Brad. They're telling their friends, I only found out what she looked like after she took her makeup off. I'm like telling my friends, I had to find out what he looked like before drinks. They only care if we use makeup to look younger. They don't care if a girl uses makeup to look older. It's bullshit. Because if a 16-year-old uses makeup to look 20, guys are like, that's okay. She's got an old soul. If I wear makeup to look 20, no one's defending me like, that's okay. She's got a young snatch. Girls these days are so incredibly savvy about sex. It's the craziest thing. These girls in my gym, they're like 19, and they're telling me about all these things they've already done. They're like, Maxie, I finally did it in the back of a car. Maxie, I did anal. I was like, oh, I don't want to hear that you've done more than me. There's this trend on TikTok now where teenage girls are taking themselves and dabbing it on like perfume. I know! My friend Rachel told me about it. She was like, ew, gross. Who wants to smell like a dead, rotten, smelly fish? And I was like, you should get that checked out, Rach. Ew. Ew. It's like you're 14. You don't need pheromonal help to attract weird men. But I do, so I grabbed 2 bottles of Jessica. I think the major upside of getting older so far... I hope there's someone in here named Jessica. It's gotta be at least $6.50 a pint. I don't know. We're at Durty Nelly's. How did she get dirty? I think there is an upside to getting older, though, and that's being invisible to men, which renders me safe from serial killers. Again, pin drop. Like, I was walking to my car the other day, and I have a habit of walking down the street to my car because I went to school in Baltimore, and I figured walking on the sidewalk, someone could just pull you in and snatch you. So I started doing that to be a little safer. And this white van that's backed up onto the road with its back doors open, I'm getting ready to walk past, and I go, no. I'm gonna walk a little wider around you in case there's a serial killer waiting in there to snatch me. And at the exact moment that I go to walk around it, a car drives down the street, forcing me back into the doors. And I'm like, oh my God, what if the serial killer that's waiting inside to get me coordinated with his buddy to drive down the street at exactly the right time that would force me into his waiting trap? And then I was like, no, Maxie, what are the odds that you would find a man who plans ahead? Thank you so much. I'm Maxie with Drag. Have a good night. Get up your host.